Hey guys, what's up? So today we are right now at the very first AMA session of WTF20 and we have our guest Joluvian all the way from Venezuela, but right now based out in
Hello.
Madrid. So I get that part now. Huh. So guys, before starting, a little bit about the event itself. So WTF20, it's the world's biggest digital art conference for artists, brought to you by PrintShop by Designhill, world's fastest growing creative print on demand marketplace. This conference is happening in association with our community clubs, which are Logo Designers Club, Illustrators Artists Club, Typography Artists Club, Designers and Graphic Designers Club, of course, and with our online learning partner, Milan Art Institute. So we have with us Joluvian, a lettering and calligraphy artist with a global perspective, which he acquired by extensive traveling and rigorous academic engagement. He's currently based out of Madrid, but is a Venezuelan by birth. Today, in this AMA session, he is going to answer your questions pertaining to how to increase confidence and master the lettering skill. And we cannot emphasize how important this topic is, as we all know that confidence is a key component for an artist when he comes to putting himself out there in the market. And given how volatile can the art market be, it's a key to success right now. So how will it work out is we will take a few questions from the questions tab. So all of you guys who have questions, please put the question in the questions tab right now, so we can take the questions up and we can share all the links as well. So Jolomian, we are up to you. Anything that you want to say right now?
Hello, guys. I'm going to show you a bit of my work. So while I'm talking about my work, you can leave the question and then I answer all your questions, anything you need from me. So I'm Joluvian. I'm from Venezuela. I live in Spain since 10 years ago, almost 11 years ago. I came here to study and change a bit of my life. And I ended up learning a lot of things like calligraphy, typography, illustration, painting. I mean, I was into, but here I try to improve my skills. So for now, I'm gonna share my screen and show you a bit of my work. So for now, this is, I'm gonna start right now. This is a logo I did recently. It's for a good friend of mine that do full styling. And he came to me because he wanted to do something specifically that show what he does. Food styling is retouching food for advertising. So at the end, also he wants in the future doing a book of food, because also he's a chef doing having a restaurant. So he wanted a logo that can be adaptable in the future, and that then he can keep or deleting the name of food styling. So at the beginning, I told him, let's work on something black and white, just in the style of the lettering, and then we work about the food styling. So what I'm showing you here is basically the process, more or less, as I show it to him. So this one was the beginning, and as he comes from another subject that is not about lettering, I have to show him the specifically terms, just to let him know what he can change, what he can adapt from one to the other one. So here it's about loops and terminate the ending of the letter is square or majuscula uppercase at the same side of the lower, different things like that. So in this case, you can see also I like to show black and white and white and black to see the difference, how it works on both sides. And this is the original, the horizontal version. I always try to make the vertical, that in English people call a stack, and the horizontal, because you don't know what is gonna be the logo one day. So same thing, black and white, and then the opposite. And at the same time, he was asking me, what about if I put the logo in a shape? One of those shapes related to food. In this case, was a lemon, because he always tried to use lemon on all his composition. When I say composition, is when he does all these places looking for the best composition of the products. The second one was made completely on the iPad, looking for something more fast, more handwriting, quick handwriting. And same thing, then I have to retouch, because if I do something on the iPad by hand or whatever, I always retouch all the letters to have a better balance. Same thing with the lemon here. And then I was looking for something completely different, looking for something more, let's say, twisted, like looking for something different. Let's call it like that. That's why the 8 is very different on the right side. At the end, a bit of everything. Then the lemma, I put it on 45 degrees just to have more space for the name. And then looking for more shapes, he said, no, I think the lemon is the best one, but let's see how it works at the end. Actually, I offered him a monogram depending of what he wants at the end, with the shape, without the shape. And this is a 3 logo at the end. So from here, he had to choose one and then let me know what he wants to go on. So he said, I like the number 2, but I prefer the full styling similar than the number 1. So from here, we can go to the main project, and this is the final result. At the end, we choose the lemon, depending of his mood, depending on what he will want to do, yellow or green. This is the, sorry, I'm going back, the logo without the shape and the logo with the shape. As I did it black and white, it works perfectly with any background, putting the background white, putting the background with color, as you can see here. Then this is the work that he usually does. It's this kind of project. That's why you see the lemon on the left corner's bottom, or this kind of things as well. Or actually, he's an expert doing melting cheese. So yeah, this is the end of this project. It's just one logo. I want to show you a bit of everything. And now, another project. This is a commission I had recently. It was a year ago. Some of these projects, you can check it on my social media. Some of them I didn't upload it yet. But this one was a project that they want this kind of lettering in the middle of the deep side of the water and the sky. So they gave me this kind of idea. They say, okay, look for the best way to talk about contamination on the water, in the water. So I did this previous draft. I said, okay, I like the Mediterranean, but I don't know if the Salvemos should be different. So I started to do a lot. This is just a couple of the draft I did for this client. But then I tried to just to show you a bit of them. After that, I said, okay, he said, I like what you have. I need to see the side of the water, how it will look at the end. So I started to look for different ways to do this. It was a really long project about the lettering, because the Mediterranean always was the nice one, but the Salvemos, that means save our Mediterranean, it was always a complication until, and the right side, they say, okay, I like the right side. Let's go for this one, but show me more. It doesn't have to be just yellow. So the last piece was something like this. The Mediterranean have many issues right now, and one of them was using the ankle. That's why the ankle is destroying the under Mediterranean, or the ground. So at the same time, I like it. When I finish, I say, okay, what about, I do all this between Illustrator and Photoshop, if someone wants to know how I did. It's not 3D. I know about 3D, but this one is painted by digital hand. Let's talk it like that. Let's call it like that. And that's it. This is the vertical version and the horizontal version. Okay, next project. This was a famous festival here in Spain, in the north of Spain, called BBK or BBK, Bilbao something. I forgot the rest. So they asked me for something quick. We didn't have enough time. I think I had like 6-7 days to do both drafts. So they gave me a brief, and I started for something, and I ended up with these two pieces, the left one and the right one. I thought the left one was better than the right one, but they choose the right one, and I ended up working on the right one. This one is not just about letters, it's more illustration than letters, but I wanted to show you because I always try to put some letters in my work made by myself. As you can see here on the left down corner, or all the name of the big bands. And this one I like it because you have two stages, the beginning, and the beginning is the right one that you see all the bands, and when you go to the festival, it's supposed to have the final one. So it's like the mountain is going from the bottom, and you can see all the magician of all the things, ideas. At the end, they didn't want to use it because it was another thing. Then, and this is the last and final artwork. I just finished it a week ago, and it's one of the longest, biggest projects I've been working in my professional career. It was for a Switzerland company. They called me. They gave me these two. They gave me a lot of idea, mood like this one or something like this one. I said, okay, can you do something with this? They gave me a bunch of quotes, and I said, okay, before we need to get the style. So the style could be something like this, and then if you like this kind of style, we can go further with the colors. I said, okay, I like it. Can you apply some color combination? I did many color combination, but here is just 3 color combination: the middle one, 2, and the left and the right. They were saying, it's a bit of pastel. What about if we go higher with very extreme color, very colorized? And I say, okay, let's do. I was looking for something made it by hand. If you listen some claps, it's because here in Spain at 8 p.m. everyone go out to clap for the people is trying to save the humanity, at least in this country. That's why they clap. If it's annoying to you, sorry. Okay, go on. So after these 3, they say, okay, change the color. So I did and do a final. Well, we want to see how it will look at the end. So I did this final one, just one, because it was a lot of work, and it's a very big canvas. So on the iPad was very complicated to work with just a few layers. So they like it, but the client said, because this is in between the agency and the client. The client liked it, but the agency liked it, but the client was not convinced. He was saying that it could be a bit vintage or not readable enough, but the idea was nice. So they say, okay, let's work again on the color palette and try to use more something more that you did before, like this. So I say, okay, you want something more based on typography, basically, but with some bubbles and some vibrating colors and just keep a little bit of shadow. So they say, yes, okay, let's go for that. After a lot of work, we've ended up with all these 15 pieces. Matching color, it was just 4 colors for the background, and then working on the letters, using kind of handwriting letters. I'm going to show you here. For example, I tried to use, actually it's Gotham, to kind of Gotham, and sometimes using my handwriting, made it on Illustrator. It was in German, so all the time I have to translate to understand what I was writing, and trying to give a bit of meaning to the quote, or exactly one word to words, depending. For example, here on the left side, where it says "Guten Noten" or "Good grade should be rewarded with money." That's why you see the money. That's why you see the star, because the star, I took it as a reward. Or handy, the middle one. I don't want to offend anyone with my very, very bad German, so that's why I don't want to try to even pronounce it. But it's a self-form ban is a good punishment. That's why they said, that's why they like, and that's why they love the heart icon. And a bit more, I have a lot of these. For example, the middle one, as a parent, you should also be best friend with your children. So that's why the family. And or the right one, parents who fight with their The logo, this one was the logo accepted, green and yellow. As I said before, the last version without the shade and the version with the shade. Then this is what he does, this kind of compositions, real composition, and then a photographer take the picture. And this is another project, and he's really good doing melting cheese that at the end is glue, is not cheese, but it's very nice to understand how it works. Then I was talking about these projects that is about saving the Mediterranean. It's for a Spanish company, where you will see who was it. And this is lettering, different kind of composition, because at the end they want something with bevel or something tangible that can be deep in the water. So I say, okay, let's do it flat, as I normally work, flat, and then it's when I go to the colors. When they say, okay, I like something, let's try to make the visual stuff. So at the end, the right one was more or less the chosen one, because I really love the left one, but they said there's so dirty stuff over there. So we need something more clean and clear. And that they thought, okay, Mediterranean should be more made by water. Salvemos, maybe that means safe, should be more metal. And the nuestro is because, as you see now, National Geographic is the color, the base color I use for nuestro. That means ours. So safe, our Mediterranean. Vertical option with and without background, and horizontal option in case they need it for that.
So there is a question which goes like, what is the best and most effective way to learn typography, lettering, and calligraphy?
So if you want to do mainly typography, I recommend you go first to calligraphy, understand the shape, understand everything about letters, and then you move to typography. But if you only want to do more expressive stuff and you don't want to create a whole typeface, because that's not your thing, just go direct to calligraphy and use different kind of tools, and digital, no digital, depending what you like, and then mix with, as I do. I try all the time to mix all my passion, my patience. It's illustration, painting, and typography, calligraphy. And
yeah. So there has been a question by Miss Navina. She wants to know that how to make typography more noticeable.
More
noticeable.
Typography more noticeable. That's about your heart. It's about, that's why I was showing a bit of my work, because it's very different sometimes, and it's about what you feel, because noticeable, it's a quite open question. It's noticeable about likes on Instagram, noticeable about views on YouTube, or noticeable about what you feel, and it's useful for the client who needs you to translate something that for them is very boring because it's just letters. If you see, for example, this project, the one I was showing you before and you didn't see until now, this project is very complex. Like this looks like it isn't. And so noticeable for me, it's about the color combination. That is a system that works in a campaign. But if you want to do a logo, you have to do your letter noticeable, readable. So sometimes it's readable, sometimes it's catchy because the color catch your attention and then you read it, and sometimes the opposite. You have to read it before and then you see the rest of the elements around. So for me, noticeable is something that you really love. You put all your passion, all your love in the letters, and then it will be noticeable because it's you.
So yeah, the next question is from Melanie. She wants to know how to find your own style and be confident about it.
How do I find?
How to find your own style and still be very, very confident about it.
Their own style, it's after you go deep on different subjects of your life. It means if you like letters, you have to do letters and letters and letters at the beginning. You copy as much as you can, and then when you understand the basic is when you have to go further and create what you think it has to be part of you. Apply it to the knowledge you received before. But if you do the opposite, you start to do really wrong letters. And it's very, for my eyes, are very aggressive. Forgive me if someone is offended with this, but sometimes I see many ugly stuff online, and it's just because people is rushing to do something and post it instead of researching about it, doing it, seeing it, checking if it's good, if it's not, and then posting it. So if you want to have your own style, before, study a lot, and then practice. At the beginning, copy for you, and then do what you think is good for you.
So there is one question by an audience. How to use typography as a logo? Basically, what I'm inferring is she wants to know how to use typography efficiently in logo designing. How can we
Yeah,
go
I was
about that?
typography in a logo. It depends of the client, it depends of the brief, and it depends of your mood. For example, if you want to go for a logo for a newspaper, you have to research about the newspaper. It's not about the typography. The typography is the element that you use to communicate what you want to say, the name of the brand, whatever. But you have to have a bunch of typographies, and then you see which one is adaptable to you, to your customer, to your project. At the same time, normally I try always to twist the typography, to change something, to give it my own style, even a minimum detail, but I try to give it. Otherwise, it's just a typography that you took from internet, or you downloaded, you pay, whatever. If you're talking about that kind of typography, it's something, but it's another confused around the world calling typography to lettering and calligraphy to typography, and then it's a confusion. So I don't know if we are talking about the same thing.
It goes like, I'm a textile artist, but I have been fascinated by lettering of late. What advice would you give for a beginner who is already an artist? So basically, she's
Ah,
in the niches.
okay. For the beginning, as I said before, research, read, look, and try to at least copy what you see. If you see something that is very nice for you, it's eye-catchy, take it and try to reproduce. While you do that thing, you can understand how the person who did it before was thinking. I'm not saying copy and then post it, because that's not good. I'm saying copy to learn. And then when you copy a bunch of them, try to do one by yourself. take a name, take a quote that you like, and try to apply all the knowledge that you received before, that you got before. So little by little, these kind of things will give you the skill, the confidence to be able to do something by yourself without copying. But as you are a beginner, you need to copy. I copy, everyone copy. When I go to school, when I went to school, even here doing my calligraphy workshop, lettering workshop, my teachers were showing me projects from different people, and then say, okay, let's try to copy this. Look how they move the hand. Looks like do this and do that, and that's the way to start. I hope to answer the question properly with my
Yeah,
bad English. Sorry for this very, very bad English.
it's fine. It's totally fine. And Joluvian, are there any rules? For example, like we have a rule called golden ratio. So, are there any certain rules to follow in typography to make it more appealing to the eye?
Yeah, I think I just replied that one. It's the structure, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
we were thinking about it just to get a greater answer for a little grander
Yeah,
purpose.
I'm in love of structures. I had a good teacher. It was a nice woman when I went to the school, and she always was talking about the grid. At that time, I didn't want to pay attention to any grid. For me, it was boring. But after starting my professional career, I said, okay, grid are very important. Sometimes if you see logos on social media, you see sometimes people using grid just for making nicer, because right now it's more a detail, and it's not necessary sometimes. For calligraphy logos, for example, it's, a grid is kind of not necessary. It's more kind of a little bit structure, and that's it. So what I want to say, I use the grid, but it's simple grid. It's more structures. I like to divide stuff and see if we have a good border or not, if it's not necessary, if I have space around or not, space inside. So I usually use a lot of guides and structure based by myself. And that was one of the best things to do typographies, because it was when I started to use structures inside of calligraphy to make typographies.
Yeah. So, Julep, that was actually a great answer. And one thing, guys, we actually exceeded the time limit right now, and the session was actually amazing. Due to paucity of time, we won't be able to take all the questions. But rest assured, the people who have registered for the event, all of the participants will get the copy of the event right now. And Joluvian, thank you so much for being a part of this conference. And we can share any of the links you want to share right now. And we have a minute to go.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
if you want to just follow me on Instagram, I have it over here at the end. This is my profile. Follow me there, and we can do more on Instagram if you want. So thank you so much for your help, and it's been a really wonderful day.
Ah, sure, guys. Thank you so much for coming up. And thank you, Joluvian. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.